Hey folks, this is Vincent Adelie with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to quickly check out Pathless Woods. Now, it's important to stress that what you're looking at here is a preview build of the game. I'm under an embargo and cannot release this footage for another 3 weeks. So everything that you're seeing here is about 3 weeks old and subject to change. And to take that one step further, we actually couldn't progress any further in the game because some of the items were labeled and titled in, I guess, Japanese, Chinese, whatever the original programming language was, because we didn't know what these items were, so we just stopped playing.
Yeah,
So
I'm pretty sure it was Chinese for the record. I
right,
think.
I don't know. So just a bunch of characters. So what is
Yeah.
this game all about? Well, it's a single player slash cooperative game. It's very cutesy, but it's very deceptive. You're going to create a character, and it looks like you'll be able to unlock more characters over time. You can choose between two of them when you're first setting up your world, and you can choose between different outfits and stuff, but some of those outfits are locked. So it looks like you'll be able to get or pick new characters as you play, which is interesting. I really like that aspect of it. And hosting, by the way, you can host a private game or public, but there's no password protection on this. Room codes are like 15 digits long, which is kind of absurd. There's no like direct Steam invite or anything like that. And there's also no way to customize your server settings. So if you want like the game to drop 3 times the material or 2 times, you can't do it. You're stuck with whatever default mode there is. And one step further, there's no difficulty settings. It's just you're at the mercy of whatever the game throws at you. So I was kind of let down by that. Now, as far as how this game plays, it felt to me very Valheimish. And the way I built my house in this game is the same way I built it in Valheim, because there were no other like options in terms of putting walls down, putting roofs in. You can build half walls. I feel like the developers saw the Valheim game and then took inspiration from that and said, this is how we're gonna make our players build our huts and stuff. And deceptively, there are 2 crafting menus in this game. There's a craft tab and a build tab, and navigating these are very difficult. At least I thought so, because there's no search feature. There are so many different items that you can craft. I was constantly trying to fight the UI, trying to find what I was looking for, and it was very, very frustrating. In fact, the game told us, for example, to start farming because we need food. And okay, we figured out how to do the crop thing. We figured out how to like till the soil with the hoe. We put the seeds down, and now we need to water the plants, which we didn't know. And we didn't have any water containers, I think the game puts it.
Hmm.
And we're sitting there searching, where's the water container? What these plants are going to die. What do we do? So she went around and found bamboo, and that unlocked more recipes. Again, a la Valheim. You find materials in this game, and when you find them for the first time, it unlocks new recipes. So I feel like the game like introduces you to things out of order, encouraging you to farm, but then not giving you water containers or the means to find them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's definitely helpful to look at the user manual. But it's a very large user manual, and I wish that the tutorial was a bit more noob friendly, I
Mm-hmm.
guess.
Yeah, like for example, I didn't know that items lost durability by sitting outside.
Hmm.
So it told us to put down a crafting station. So we did like our first crafting table, and then we started seeing its durability meter going. I'm like, what's going on with that? So here, oh, we need to build foundations. We need to put walls. And by the way, I was actually more impressed with the crafting system in this game compared to Valheim. Like, you can actually see the grids. Like, whenever you highlight your shadow over an adjacent wall or something, you'll see that it's in line. You'll see little dots that will tell you that it's in line with like what you're about to put down. I really like that. And you can even do multiple things. Like there's, if you hold in this button, you can align the position. If you hold in this button, it'll adjust the angle. If you hold in this button and mouse wheel, you'll shrink this wall to half a wall. Rather than being like a full wall and half a wall in the build menu, you can actually like shrink it. So like, but at the same time though, like there's a lot of buttons to press in this game. F to do this, G to do that, Q to do this, hold and shift the mouse wheel to do this. It's like, again, I felt like I was expecting a cute, casual, great looking, like kitty crafting survival game, like base building.
Hmm.
I did not get that. I got Valheim 2X is what I got.
Yeah.
But in a Japanese world. And there's even a nutrition meter.
Chinese.
Okay, sorry, China. Is it Chinese or Japanese? I don't know.
It says
It
Chinese.
does. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're here because I would screw that
Yeah.
up. I get those details wrong. But
That's okay.
like, there's even a nutrition meter. Again, kind of like in Valheim, where you are encouraged to eat different kinds of foods, and whenever you eat, there's like a little green red meter on the bottom that will either decrease or increase. You also have to worry about spirit, which, like, if you're in the dark for too long, that'll go down. There's water, there's food, there's health. I don't.
Mindfulness.
What is mindfulness? I don't even know
I,
what that is.
that might be like sanity. I was reading that in the user manual thing as well. Um, but yeah, I didn't get too far into it.
Is that
But
represented on the UI anywhere? Because I didn't see it. I saw spirit, but I didn't see mindfulness.
I that was in the user manual, and it looked just like the spirit.
Oh, okay.
Or yeah, I don't know. It was one of the things that can go down.
Yeah, like that. That's our point. Like we were impressed by the game, but also frustrated at the same time. Because the controls were really floaty. Like I felt like my character didn't like the controls didn't feel like snappish. They felt floaty in the sense that it took like an extra half second for my character to register that I was doing something, and then when I stopped moving, it took them half a second to stop. So I felt like they were on ice all the time, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it's one of those where like your character will take like two long strides, but or two strides, but then like the actual distance is really long. So
Hmm.
it's like it doesn't sync well. But yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean, yeah. So like, I enjoyed the game, and we were going to continue playing it. There, like in Valheim, you have to continue crafting various crafting stations. Like you start with the basic crafting station, and then you get this. Was it like a loom something or other, looming station? The English translation in this game is awful. Like instead of take the word take, it's like pull or it's like a weird. Like if you were to Google translate like Chinese to English. That's what they did to get the English in this game. Like some of the words, some of the verbs don't seem right. So like, yeah, I lost my
I
train.
I
Uh-huh.
semi disagree with you only
Uh,
because I think that it's a lot better than other foreign games,
well,
like the
yeah.
translation.
Okay, if you insist. But like, did you go to the cooking station and you had to hit like F to pull all? I think pull was the verb it used to pull
Oh,
all. Rather
okay.
than take all, it was pull all or something
Oh,
like
I
that.
see.
So I'm like, that doesn't. I'm like, what is pull? Why am I pulling this item? Oh, I'm taking it. Okay, it
Yeah.
just they use the word pull instead of that's what I'm saying. Like the translation in this game is a bit eh, very Englishy, I think.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
but yeah, you can craft armor in this game. You can craft various things. But what stopped us from playing it, we got to the Stone Anvil crafting station, and 90% of the items there were in a different language, like the descriptors and the titles. We had no idea what they did, and I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
enough is enough. I'm tired of this. It's just
I wouldn't have minded so much if it wasn't so tedious to go and gather all the materials for it to try and figure it out. Like, it was really tedious trying to be very careful not to completely run out of um, plants, you know, because if you use the wrong tool, you can actually waste material, I
Hmm.
guess, and you can actually run out of a certain type of resource if you didn't use the right tool.
Right.
And then on top of that, you have to use like all these extra controls to switch tools, and the camera work, the flow, just it just it was too much, you know. It's weird to say that because it was information overload with not enough information that actually mattered. You know,
Right.
I.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, so getting back to what you were saying about the whole resource thing, you can either pull an item out of the ground, like grass, for example, or you
Mhm.
can use a stone knife and harvest it, and I guess it'll regrow over time. That's what she's talking about. And there seems to be a finite set of resources. There's also
Yes.
quick time events that are optional. Like if you go to a tree, you can either time your button clicks with a quick time event, or you can just hold in the E button to chop it down fully
Mhm.
without the QuickTime event. That's kind of cool, but it's also it takes longer. I wish there was an accessibility option to where you can just hit the button once and they'll just keep chopping until it's taken down. My biggest wish though is that this game had server settings to where materials drop at 3 times the normal rate. So like when you get grass out of the ground, you get 4 of them or 3 of them as opposed to just one,
Mhm.
making the resource grind less tedious is what I would have liked.
Yeah.
Take up, not pull. It was take up.
Pick up.
I'm looking at the video now. Bonfire. It says take up,
Ah,
not
okay.
take from. Take up. Like
I see.
yeah, yeah. So like, that's what I mean. I'm like, what does take up mean?
Mhm.
So anyway, yeah. So did you enjoy this, or was it just?
I did enjoy it. It reminded me a lot of, like you said, Valheim, and also Don't Starve Together. Don't Starve Together has beautiful graphics, I think, like the whole um isometric view, but in a cartoony state.
Mhm,
And like you said, it's deceptively cute, but it's a tough game. I was not expecting a almost hardcore survival game like this, but I love the premise of the actual trying to do things like back in the day, you know, back in the
mhm,
Chinese day.
mhm.
So I thought that stuff was really cool. It's unfortunate that bamboo is actually kind of difficult to grab early on because I think that's kind of what hindered us
Mhm.
from really progressing. Like, and these enemies, they're no joke. Like,
Yeah, we
they
were getting
will
beat up
mess
by
you up.
chickens. Yeah, like the chickens themselves were tough. Even the rabbits. The rabbits took
Really?
4 hits with a club. I was killing a
Yeah.
rabbit and I took 4 hits with a club. I'm like, seriously? I'm,
Yeah.
so,
That's tough.
all
And
right.
I got poisoned because I accidentally drank water from a poisoned pond when I just wanted to pick up the rabbit foot that was underneath it.
Mm-hmm.
So
All
yeah,
right.
it's a really tough game, but I enjoyed it.
Okay.
I did.
Well, we're running out of video here. So, I mean, again, keep in mind this footage is 3 weeks prior to launch. I'm hoping
Hmm.
the developers can patch this before release because it needs it. I mean, it
Yeah.
really does. And it really needs some server difficulty settings. I wish I could have customized my experience more. If they do introduce custom difficulty settings and server settings, I would come back to this. I'd be 300% more likely to come back to this. But as it stands, it feels very much like Valheim in the way it plays, and I'd rather just go play that because it's a bit more stable and I understand it more than I understand this game, to be
Hmm.
fair. But all right, well there you go, folks. That was a quick look at what was the game called?
Pathless Woods.
There you go, Pathless Woods. This is Vincent Idley. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you all next time. Take care.
Bye guys.